Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're going to get into everything you guys need to know about AMC stock, the technicals, the option activity over the next couple of weeks, as well as a stark new warning out from Iran. This one does not sound all too good, so yeah. The work's cut out for us here in this video. We're going to get into a bunch of other things that I think you need to know as well, including what I think is happening next for the markets, as well as AMC stock, how to maybe best position yourself besides just joining the trading community. If you guys want to get access to all of our trades in real time, link down below. If you do not get a message when you sign up, send me a message over on Patreon and we'll get you all taken care of. But first and foremost, hit the like button. Second thing you need to do is subscribe to the channel. And third is share this video with a friend so everyone is up to speed, up to date what's going on with AMC stock. So what happened on Friday? It's simple. We had good news. The Taylor Swift movie hit theaters and I mean, it happens almost every time. It's almost like clockwork. AMC stock dropped 13.5%. You were down about 1% in after hours. The bigger story really is the fear move. You did see bond yields fall, which normally is good for stocks, but it was not this time. That's because investors are fearful. Investors are buying treasuries. Investors are buying gold because they're fearful, because it looks like this situation in Israel is probably going to get a lot worse before it does get better. And we do have a stark new warning from Iran. Iran warns of far-reaching consequences if Israel is not stopped. The parliament mission of Iran to the UN in New York City put this post out on their X account. Let's see exactly what it says. It says, war crimes and genocide are not halted immediately. The situation could spiral out of control and ricochet far-reaching consequences. Tehran's mission to the United Nations in New York posted on X. If the Israeli apartheid war crimes and genocides are not halted immediately, the situation could spiral out of control and ricochet far-reaching consequences, the responsibility of which lies with the UN, the Security Council, and the states steering the council towards a dead end, the post read. That is word for word. That doesn't sound too great. What does far-reaching consequences mean? That sounds like oil, if I were to say so. About 30% of the world's oil supply flows through the Strait of Iran. It's not called the Strait of Iran, it's called some other name. But it's basically a waterway in which Iran kind of has full control over if they want to. Okay, so if they want to cause a lot of economic pain, recessions around the globe, they could do that very easily. It wouldn't take a whole lot to make that happen. That could be your far-reaching consequences, or it could be something a little more dark and sinister. We don't know, but I'll tell you right now, this does not sound good at the bare minimum. This is just coming out about 1 hour ago, so definitely something to keep on your radar. What happens with this situation? It does not look like the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, has done anything yet as far as make an actual advancement into the Gaza Strip. There have been missions. A lot of that has regards to your hostages and things of that nature, like recovery efforts of civilians. Some of that's going on right now, but you haven't seen a full-fledged invasion yet. The problem, I guess, is when Israel does make their way into Gaza, there is so many people, there's going to be a lot of loss of life. And when it does happen, I think is a better question. Not if, but when. What does Iran do? Right? Stopping the flow of 30% of the oil in the world would cause your gas prices at the pump to get ridiculous. So I personally think maybe it's not a terrible idea to fill up your tank at the very minimum right now. Because oil does react quickly. Gas, not so much, but when the price does start to go up, that could hurt at the pump a lot. If this ultimately does happen, we'll see what happens. But I think that's the big thing, that's causing a lot of worries out there. If it's almost inevitable to happen, right? Hopefully not. Hopefully this situation does not escalate from here, but usually conflicts don't have such a large potential negative impact. This one does have the potential to have a big negative impact on the U.S. economy. I can't think of another conflict that has had that potential. So we'll ultimately see what happens. Now, in regards to AMC, like I said, the Taylor Swift film just launched. We're kind of waiting for earnings. There's not too much that is happening right now with AMC, relatively speaking. We're not getting that much news besides Adam Aaron having a relationship with someone fake online. He was getting catfished. I don't know if that had an effect to AMC's share price drop on Friday. That news had come out on Thursday. I doubt it. I think it's just one of those situations where the markets were so risk off on Friday, and hedge funds, institutions, they're not the sharpest individuals, as I like to say, not the sharpest crayons in the crayon box. They said risk off, short AMC. It's a very flawed mental reaction, very low mental capacity a lot of these guys have. Now, if you take a look at AMC stock, we'll actually start here with some of the option activity that we're going to see for this upcoming week. Now, I'm actually not that negative on the markets. It sounds like I'm more negative than I am. That's because if this situation does get worse, then the markets could dramatically get worse. You could look at a 30, potentially 40% pullback if this were to be like the worst possible outcome, right? If 30% of the world's oil supply were to stop moving, then you'd be looking at a huge decline. But if nothing escalates from here, if Israel goes in there and they're very careful and nobody really, dies, and it's just, a bad situation, but nobody else gets involved, I'm decently bullish on the markets, at least for certain sectors. I think the markets could definitely widen out, meaning that some of that money in big tech stocks could make their way into other stocks that have not seen as much love. I think AMC's, in that camp. And I do think AMC is going to have improving fundamentals. And that would also pull money into AMC as well. Now, if you take a look at the option activity, a lot of people have definitely started to switch to becoming bulls on AMC. You're seeing calls in the money of about 31,000, calls out the money 133,000, puts in the money 13,000, puts out the money of 92,000. So that's for next week. So a lot of call activity relative to put activity for the following week. Same story there. Basically every single week, you're seeing a lot more call activity than you're actually seeing put activity. So this is really good. That's what you want to see if you're a bull in AMC. Let's take a look at the put to call ratio. You can see the put to call ratio is at 0.76. It's hanging out right about here. This is back to a more normal level, something that we did see, back in August of 2022. AMC stock went through a big rally during that time, but I think the put to call ratio is a big reason why AMC stock has been so docile for so long. You just really haven't seen any of these sharp rallies all throughout here from January 2021 through August of 2022. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 multi-100% rallies. Ever since, November of 2022 until now, you haven't seen a single one. And I think that's because the put to call ratio was just so bad. There was so many calls there was so many puts relative to calls. It was really hard to get any kind of rally going for AMC. There was just so much put pressure on the stock. Well, now you have seen that completely fall off. So I think it's only a matter of time before you see, a big rally. Multi-100% rally. I've been calling this since, the last couple of weeks. And AMC stock, by and large, has started that. I do think this is the start of a much bigger rally to come. We'll come back to that here in just a second after the technicals. Let's run through some of this Vortex data. Take into consideration these numbers are probably not true. Some of them might be, some of them are absolutely not. So you have a short score of 58, $170.45 million worth of short positions. Estimated short interest of free float at 7.84%. Free float out on loan at 11.35%. Shares out on loan 22.44 million. Days to cover 1.3. Cost to borrow 1.94. And utilization of 47.05. So some very low numbers here, especially the short interest of free float. This says it's down 72% within the last 3 months. That's obviously not true. The short interest is not 8% in AMC. I would need to see some hard data on that, and even the hard data on that would just not be very supportive of what we've seen with AMC's share price. If you take a look over here on Ortex, you can see live short interest on free float at 8.14%, 16.1 million shares that are currently estimated sold short. Cost bar max sitting at about 9%, cost bar minimum at about 1%, cost bar average at about 1.28%. I also think those numbers are not exactly quite accurate. And if we take a look at the charts here, AMC stock, you really wanted to see a close above $9.50 per share. You're still above $9 per share though, so the situation could obviously be a lot worse. Your 8-day moving average is at $9.57 per share. You want to see if you find support there. We did not on Friday. That moved down in after hours and towards the end of the day. Definitely, had us not quite there. A little bit under that, but if we look ahead, just going ahead into next week, your big level is about $8.80 per share. As long as you can stay above that, you're going to be in a better situation rather than not. That's connecting this, longer term downtrending line of support, right? Ever since May of 2022. So it's been a while, connecting the lows from here. If you stay above that, then that should be a good bottom and you can continue to make your way higher. We've seen a lot of green days recently, as you can see from the charts. Just Friday was utterly pitiful. The MACD has also looked pretty good for a while now, continues to even look good after what we've seen on Friday, but your RSI is at 42.42, so that is down from what we've seen on Thursday of about 51, guys. So definitely go ahead, keep this information in mind. Again, I think earnings are going to be important. I think any news that we get is going to be important, but it's only a matter of time before we do get a multi-100% run. I think there's no way at this point that doesn't happen, but if we do go through downside here in the markets because of this situation in Israel, that could obviously be a big negative catalyst for everything. AMC wouldn't be safe. The NASDAQ wouldn't be safe. Apple wouldn't be safe. Microsoft wouldn't be safe. Nothing would be safe if the worst possible scenario happens with this Israel conflict. So keep that in mind. The best way to potentially position your portfolio, have a lot of cash on the sidelines. Maybe have some hedges on your portfolio as well. If you guys want to come see what kind of hedges we have on our portfolio, check out that link down below in the description of this video. I think it's one of those moments in time where if you're a long-term investor and you're just buying stocks, you're holding them, whatever. You're buying AMC, holding it. It might not make sense to hedge. Hedging isn't for everyone. But if you're someone that's more so an active trader and you think with a high degree or with enough of a risk, maybe I should say, that stocks do come down in a big way and you do want to capitalize on that, maybe make some money, hedging does not look bad right now. If you look at something like the NASDAQ, you are way up there, okay? If you just point this out, the NASDAQ would need to fall, dude, like 38% to get back to the highs right before the pandemic. I don't think that is too unreasonable if this situation does get worse over in the Middle East. So you could have a lot of downside. I don't think now is a bad time to hedge. I think right now is probably the best time to be hedging out your portfolio, in my personal opinion. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. That's basically everything you guys need to know. Not too much else to actually report on out here. Right now it's 7:12 p.m. So Israel, I believe morning time is like 2 in the morning, maybe midnight, around there. Israel's, waking up. So it would surprise me if we don't see a ground invasion within the next 10 hours or so, guys. So that is going to go ahead and do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.